before I get into the depths of my argument, I'd just like to say I realise I'm here somewhat on debating parole, as it were. So I'm going to say I'm not going to be offensive. I'm not going to be too controversial. I'm not going to say things that might be taken as unnecessarily rude. Okay, good. Right then, shooting foreigners, because that's what we're suggesting doing to defend the Falkland Islands. We're willing to go to war with Argentina just to defend the Falkland Islands. Now, I don't know if you know what the Falkland Islands are, so I'll be blunt. They're a pointless lump in the Antarctic. And yet, we take a huge amount of pride in this pointless lump in the Antarctic. We even sent Prince William there, which means we now have 2 pointless lumps in the Antarctic. But really, it's useless. We get nothing from it. I mean, their population is tiny. They've only got one city called Stanley, which is named after its inhabitants. Their population is tiny. I wanted to come here today and say, just compare it to loads of things that are as small as it, but I couldn't find anything that's as small as the population of the Falkland Islands. I guess there's only one thing that comes close, and that's Anne Diamond's listening figures. But even they would get angry at that comparison. Honestly, they'd be furious. They'd probably get angry letters from both of them. So why do we want this island? It's got no people. It's got more sheep than people. 500,000 sheep. 90% of the land is used for farming. And you might think, we get wool from those sheep, we get lamb from those sheep. No, that all goes to Argentina. We get our wool from Wales. We get our lamb from New Zealand. I mean, unless we rent these 500,000 sheep out as a brothel to Wales or something, we make no money. Now, I know a lot of people. So why do we want this island? I know what their argument is: oil. That's because they've got a little bit of oil. But really, I mean, because nowadays oil barons, they dictate our foreign policy, don't they? It's the reason we went into Iraq. It's the reason we went to Afghanistan. It's the reason we held out in Libya. Oil. Oil barons run our foreign policy, and that's wrong. Because, of course, they're going to profit from it, but if we have to fight a war to defend this profit, it's going to cost our country. I mean, the oil barons, they don't have to pay for bullets or guns or caskets for the brave people fighting to defend this island, this pointless lump. Our soldiers go over there fighting to defend something that we get nothing from it. So maybe just one reason we should say no, we should just give over the Falklands, is just to send a message that our country can't be bought. We don't just obey the oil barons at every possible turn. And we can't afford a war with Argentina. I mean, I know Argentina, they can afford a war. They've got all that Nazi gold. Okay, maybe you don't know. After the Second World War, all the Nazi commanders, they went over to Argentina and they gave all their gold. But enough about my grandfather. They can afford a war. We can't afford a war. We're £1 trillion in debt. We're under a time of austerity. Well, what are our troops going to do? Line up and take it in turns to fire the British Army's pistol? We can't afford this war, and we have no way of keeping it. In 1982, we fought a war with the Falklands, and 900 people died in that war. 258 British soldiers. And that was in 1982, when we had an army. Nowadays, we can't do anything now. And it was a 74-day war, the Falklands War, and 258 British soldiers died, compared to Afghanistan, where 398 people died in over 11 years of fighting. This war would be extremely bloodthirsty. And we can't afford it. I mean, and I know there's no economic gain from it, really. And so it comes down to really prestige. People defend this as a matter of prestige. But why do we get prestige from this lump of rock in the Atlantic? Why are we proud of that? We've got so many more things to be proud of. We've got the pound. We all love the £5 note, don't we? Sure, they can be wrinkled and old and unloved, but that's just a picture of the Queen. But we've got so many more things to be proud of. I mean, we've got our celebrities. We love Adele. I mean, the fuss we made when Adele got cut off early from her speech. And yeah, she got less screen time than everyone else. She took up more screen space. But we've got so many more things to be proud of than this love. And I guess it just comes down to, what do we think is more important to our country? Our prestige, i.e. Britain, or our lives, i.e. the British people? So those are people, you have to choose your side. The people who think that our lives, British people, are more important than our pride, they've been into what I call the war horse argument, that shows how terrible war is. And those who think our prestige is more important than lives, they go into the Iron Lady argument. So, you have to choose your side. Are you going to side with the story of a horse who faced war and the generals and warmongering? Or are you going to side with a young lady, a general warmonger with a face like a horse?